back and thank you so much for staying with Morning Live. Now, from today until the 20th of this month, different events will take place in South Africa leading up to the 37th Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of States in Pretoria. As per tradition, the host country is, in this case, of course, is us, South Africa. It takes over the one chairmanship of the organization from Swaziland. Joining us to take this discussion further is Nelson Gwete, the spokesperson of the Department of International Relations and Corporations. And as I said, he joins us from our studios in Pretoria. And Dr. Gwete, good morning to you and thank you so much for talking to us.
Good morning, Palesa. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much indeed. Let's just start by understanding the role of your department in this event.
The department is organizing the arrangements for South Africa's hosting of the SADC Summit. We will start the meetings officially today at the level of senior officials, that is at the Director General level. All the SADC states are expected to take part in the meeting, all the 15 member states. And South Africa will then take over the chairpersonship of the SADC from the current chair, which is the Kingdom of Swaziland. The department is making arrangements for the participation of all the delegations. We expect that the senior officials that are already in Pretoria at the moment will make preparations for the meeting of the Executive Council. The Executive Council is comprised of ministers, mainly of foreign affairs, but other departments do designate ministers in other portfolios to participate in the Executive Council. And then after the Executive Council, the heads of state will start arriving on the 17th of August to take part in the summit, which is at the head of state level.
Yeah, and if my memory serves me well, I think we last chaired about 8 years ago. Talk to us about our responsibility as we chair the summit in the region.
Yes, South Africa last chaired the SADC in 2008 to 2009, and we are taking over the chair. In the role of chair, we will be assisted by two other states that form the troika of the chair. At the current moment, Swaziland is the chair, and the troika is comprised of the previous chair, which is Botswana, Swaziland, and the incoming chair, which is South Africa. So we will be leading the SADC from August 2017 until August 2018. And in that role, we will be responsible for coordinating the work of the regional community, representing SADC also in other forums, for example, at the African Union level, whenever there is a need for the SADC to express a particular common perspective. It will be the responsibility of South Africa to speak on behalf of the region as designated by the leaders of the region.
Yeah, and I'm also looking at the fact that the summit ends 3 days before Angola goes to the elections. And I would imagine that President José Eduardo dos Santos is someone who actually contributed a lot towards the region. What will happen?
The SADC summit will provide an opportunity for the leaders in the region to pay homage to President dos Santos, who has played a very important role in the liberation struggle in the Southern African region, in particular in the liberation struggle against the apartheid system in South Africa. So the leaders will take advantage of the gathering 3 days before the elections to pay homage to President dos Santos and also wish the Angolans a very peaceful and free and fair election, as they will be electing the next leader who will take over from President dos Santos.
Yeah, but in terms of the agenda, besides the issue of Angola, what else will be on the agenda? I would want to imagine that there is so much to talk about, especially if one looks at some of the troubled areas like your Madagascar, like your DRC and Lesotho, which recently went to the elections.
Yes, the agenda of the summit mainly will be focused on the theme, which is partnering with the private sector to develop industry and regional value chains. Now, in that perspective, we will be focusing on the theme of the summit, which has almost been similar in the last 4 years, starting with the summit that was held in Zimbabwe in 2014, where the regional leaders decided that we needed to develop a plan to industrialize the region and also ensure that the business is able to trade freely, and also that we have a situation where there is a freer movement of goods, services and people. So the theme of the summit has almost been around the same theme from 2014, taken through in the next summit, which was held in Botswana. The last summit in Swaziland was also focusing on the same theme around industry and regional value chains in the region. In that regard, we have identified specific sectors that will be, at the center of discussions at the summit when the leaders meet. Those sectors are mainly the pharmaceutical sector, the infrastructure development sector, and also the other sector of mineral beneficiation. As you would know, the region is richly endowed with minerals. So the leaders have decided that we need to take advantage of the goodwill that exists within the region at the moment to ensure that we develop industries around these sectors. Now, the political aspect of the summit, mainly in the last few years, the summit has been focusing on 3 specific areas. The situation in the Kingdom of Lesotho, where we've seen elections being held recently in June, culminating in the coming into office of a new prime minister. Now, the other focus area is the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where elections were supposed to be held last year, but because of certain impediments, the elections could not be held. So the regional leaders will discuss the way forward in relation to the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
No, quite
the other area that has been on this.
All right. No, I suppose for now, Dr. Khwete, let's leave it at that. We'll still be in conversation with you post the summit. Thank you so much for coming through.